What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Final Fantasy TCG podcast. I'm Travis. This is our host.
Hey, Noah. Lovely host. What's up, guys?
And we're also joined by Byron.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
God, you're so dark and depressing.
You know what would be awesome? You know what would be really awesome? If James just put up a scary picture right now.
Oh, just a jump scare? I'd be so down for that.
Face at that point, like, oh shit! I looked at the camera. Sorry, I didn't see it. All right, as usual, we're gonna get done with our housekeeping stuff out of the way. We would like to. I don't think I did this last time, and I feel bad for it. We would like to ask you guys to support us on any way possible. Via Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, or Twitch @/TCG University. You can also check us out on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify. Rate us 5 stars. That's what it says on the paper. But if you can go higher than 5, you're fucking crazy. Stop hacking shit. Or hack my bank account and give me more money, not less. Continuing, I'd like to thank our junior and higher sponsors. We have, as usual, Addie, Andrew Dang, Anthony Albano. God, somebody shoot me. Bryce Rathsack, Clay Cardwell, Jacob Arshin, Monsieur, Jay Rosers, Jesse Cervini, Jesse Morrison, Jesse Nix. It's a trifecta. Justin Farce, Kat Maria, Kevin Broberg, Kieran Vision, Kyle Krossick. Please let me say that right. Lucinda Letica, Orlando Valdez Santos, Paul Casagrande, Ransom MacArthur, Samantha Stevens, the baddest bitch around, Sean O'Brien, Timothy Friedlib, Tamer's Evolution TCG, and Tyler Zanpees. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. We are, what, you said 90 off from the current video?
I think we're like 909.
909, roughly 90 off.
Who left us?
That 1,000 subs.
We were at 910 earlier. Come back.
Dude, if you
get back here,
it's fine. Just leave it there. Also, we have our usual sponsors. We have Cards Custom Build, Ink Gaming, and Dex Protection. Thanks, you guys, for sponsoring us. We're just a lowly channel of dudes who love cards and love to share that.
And
actually, we're at 9/11. Never mind.
nice.
Oh,
And,
no. 9/11.
Before we move on, also, I would like to give a small shout out to my own Twitch channel, which is at 49 followers out of 50 for affiliate. So if
Less than us.
true, it is. So if you guys want to come out and follow or whatever, if you just want to watch, that's okay too. I would really appreciate it. Twitch.tv/OMrMatsu. I stream every day except for weekends from 5 to 10.
Sometimes I'm on there. Sometimes I'm not. If you
correct. Sometimes he is on there.
Hey,
why do I feel like James is about to go look me up and follow me just so he can say he got me to affiliate?
He is.
Oh, Mr. Matsu. We're really doing this on stream.
Wait, quick, I'm going to leave.
Quick.
I'll be right back, guys. I think I'm already following you.
I am following, but I'm on follow now.
Back at 49?
Nope.
Forever at 49.
Follow.
No, wait, it says unfollow.
No, cancel.
I'm already
You're
following.
already
You're already-
following
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Dang.
Unfollow.
Played.
Don't joke.
He's
Yeah,
like,
so,
make a bot account.
So yeah, that, and also check me out on YouTube. Also, Oh, Mr. Matsu. I just recently opened 51 Lunar Revel orbs in League of Legends. So if you guys like that kind of stuff.
I mean, you also have world's first recorded.
Samira 3-star, you know. We're already out here.
Yeah. All right, continuing. We have a few topics lined up today. Hopefully we can get to the one here as a tribute to Zeth. He's not like dead or anything. He's just not here today.
He's here in spirit, but he's not dead.
I can hear the "What's up, homies?" It's Zeth here already.
Zeth just busts down the door. What's up, homies? It's Zeth here. That would be.
Anybody's
I
got
would
the
die
cleanest
laughing.
catchphrase, it's Zeth. I gotta
Quick.
give him credit there.
Call him up, FaceTime, and have him just intro really
doing
quick.
All that right now.
Do it.
I'm not. He is not going to answer. He's probably bow-wowing.
It's fine. He'll do it while
Nice.
he's doing that.
Good job, James. You did it.
Continuing. All right.
Supporting the homies.
As of this date, I am now an affiliate on Twitch. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you. 24-hour stream coming soon. You know we out here.
I wish I had time for that shit.
Yeah.
Work keeps me right. Like we did it once and it took months.
You guys.
All right. So first topic of today that we need to cross off this list. Wow, that sounds like a chore, and it's not. Is tier list. Now, we're not going through the specific tier list of FFTCG, but we're talking about tier lists in general for multiple card games and how we think they play a role in just is it just how
So-
people perceive things? Or
Yeah, I can explain that. So
you gave us this topic.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so I kind of wanted to talk about tier list compared to multiple card games, like across the board. So like, for instance, I'm gonna be using White Shorts as a reference. White Shorts, like they have a definitive tier list per se, but that tier list sometimes doesn't necessarily matter when you're actually playing the game, because I think the game does require skill, but it also has luck involved.
It does.
There's definitely more RNG involved than in most other card games.
Yeah,
God, it's slightly annoying sometimes.
yeah, for sure it is.
I'm 16 cards in and I've got 8 climaxes. I should be good. Dude, you will hit all 4 at the bottom.
Yep. So like that, like it almost seems like the tier list sometimes gets thrown out because of the luck in the game. So like, yeah, there's a tier list for sure, but sometimes it just doesn't matter.
It matters less.
Yeah, it matters less.
So
in other card
that's
games.
why it's like sometimes you could be literally playing the best deck in the game, for example, and just, oh man, I drew 4 climaxes. Well, this game's looking kind of unplayable right now.
It's like you can run into really bad luck. And like other card games like Final Fantasy, I think that the decks are better constructed in order for it to not be based on luck as much.
I mean, yeah.
I think Final Fantasy has for the most search in a lot of different card games I've played.
So it's possible in Final Fantasy to build your deck in ways that the ratios are not you getting lucky per se, compared to Weiss, where it's like, I am mandatory to have 8 climaxes in my deck. The rest can be whatever. I just need to optimize my numbers.
Yeah. There's a lot of different ways to search out cards in Final Fantasy. Even if it's not like direct searching, there's a lot of like cheap ways to do it. Like the Clavat and give me other cards that are like Clavat. I can't remember all their names.
Lil T.
Lil T, yeah, like Clavat and Lil T. Just pump the card in of the other one you want, you'll hit it soon.
Yeah, so like with Final Fantasy, you don't see much.
Thief.
You don't stray away much from the tier list when you're actually playing the game, unlike White Shorts. I think Yu-Gi-Oh is kind of like that too, in the fact that sometimes on your opening hand, you can basically know if you're going to lose or win.
So
I just think. Oh, go.
That's another thing that I think is beautiful about Final Fantasy TCG is that since it's like a pseudo Magic clone, is that even though there's a set like tier list, there's a lot of room for innovation, which is something you, for the most part, don't really see in like Weiss or Yu-Gi-Oh. Like there's the one person that like they make the deck and then it becomes popular and then people set like a tier list and they only build that deck and don't do much else experimenting, or at least that's what it feels like.
And if you do experiment, like it's just like a couple cards here and there.
Yeah,
it doesn't necessarily
like
change the deck.
It's like
Whole
some
new deck.
yeah. It's not like you're trying this entire new deck unless the set is just literally brand new. But that's what I like about Final Fantasy.
I think
compared to those.
Final Fantasy's tier list honestly depends on the pilot of the deck. You made a point about that earlier. Like Shane's Dragoon deck, for instance. I think Shane's just a beautiful pilot in general. The guy's insane with the way he plays any of the decks he plays.
He's a really
he
good player.
understands them really well. But like if you put that Dragoon's deck in the hand of somebody else, they're probably not gonna play it the same way he does and know all the different outs of it, you know, or like see the ways that he can play around opponent like Storm. Like he lasted really long against the deck, and he almost got there. It just
Yeah, and I think that's a very good point. That a lot of that, the way people see a deck, definitely changes from person to person.
yeah.
So like you see different lines than the other person would see playing the same deck.
Yeah.
I for instance, I'm using Dragon Ball because this is the one I have the most knowledge on at the moment. King Piccolo topped the Miami PPG tournament, I believe, not too long before this video. I'm dating it. And right after that, everybody's like, "Yo, King Piccolo's like one of the most busted red decks in the format." Blah 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 blah. But like, there's ways to deal with it. It doesn't mean it's the best deck. There's a lot of decks that can just punch him into the ground if he doesn't see one card or something to deal with it. He's aggressive, but like you have things like Majin Vegeta that can beat him, that can be beaten by like it. The tier list is fluctuating constantly. People try to keep it consistent, but I think it fluctuates too much.
So that's so for Dragon Ball, it fluctuates.
Yeah, it's like a triangle meta kind of thing. Like this deck can beat all of these types, but this deck can beat all of that, and
I mean,
you
I
have
think
counterbalances.
that's another thing about Dragon Ball too. Kind of how I was comparing like FF and Magic is like there's room for innovation in that game too, and that's part of the reason why the tier list fluctuates so constantly.
No, I think it's super funny because when you actually take the time to not sit and look at just like the net deck like top deck list. Like Mason, for instance, built the memeiest shit I've ever seen him build, but it functions so well. He's playing the Wish Leader Gohan that says on the backside, remove all 7 Dragon Balls from your warp, and he gains 15 in crit. And he's playing the new Baby Unison that says at 5 markers, remove 5, give your leader 15 in double strike. So he plays that, and he plays the Call of Justice, which says pay 2, restand your leader. And he just packs his deck full of like a bunch of blue shit to defend and Sensu Beans. In one game, I saw him with 3 Sensu Beans and 3 Call to Justices, and he put his leader up to a 45k crit double striker. At 5 energy, nothing was tapped yet, and I was like, there's no way he doesn't just stomp on the game. Because and he's going up against Invoker, which is one of the best decks in the format. Like, if you take the time to build outside of what's there, you can definitely find other decks that do their job.
Because good pilots will always have their pet decks.
Oh, for sure.
Is something I've noticed in a lot of like Magic styled card games like Final Fantasy, Sword of Dragon Ball. The good pilots will always have their pet decks that they prefer to whatever is being played that's meta or whatever.
Yep. Because honestly, I think a lot of tier list people focus too much on the decks and the card effects and how the cards function, and like sometimes it does just come down to the person playing them.
Yeah.
Like, if they know how to play those cards better and maximize their potential, or they know how to play around those cards, then it wouldn't matter. I don't think tier lists should... I mean, a lot of people have said it. Tier lists aren't set in stone. It's a good gauge, but I don't think it's something you just rely on solely.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Like, kind of like what I was trying to get at is that Final Fantasy as a tier list stays a lot more true to the actual tier list.
That's fair. Yeah, it does. Okay, fair.
And yeah, there is room for innovation in Final Fantasy amongst that tier list, but like we do have certain decks that are going to be at the top, and then if you're playing a lower tiered deck against that top tier deck, you're most likely going to lose, even if the pilots are like, if you say one of them they're like mediocre pilots, like the top deck is going to win, right? So like with
both on same skill level, the better deck wins.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, yeah, that's kind of how it is in most card games. To be honest.
but I think Y Shorts, and I keep going back to this, like Cardfight Vanguard, I think kind of be like that. I haven't played in a long time.
Yeah.
But
it definitely was kind of like that.
because like you do have to play a certain amount of like your triggers, right?
Yeah, your triggers.
So like there's more room for you to lose to a lower tiered deck in Weiss and Cardfight maybe, compared to Final Fantasy Magic maybe. I don't know.
Oh, like Mugen's.
I mean,
beating Goblin players.
Yeah,
like standby deck.
Like
kind of
there is like that deck would definitely, it's like a lower tiered than what Goblin Slayer is.
My anti-change counter, quote unquote, is just a dude that stays on board forever and says that your early plays don't stay.
Yeah.
At start of climax, which is insane.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. So that's just kind of what I was trying to get at, I guess.
No, I agree. That's pretty good.
Sorry, do your thing. I'm looking up the next, how to describe the next topic, because this is a Zeth topic. And Zeth goes in depth in our group chat with how he like types out these topics, and I'm really annoyed that I like didn't screenshot it.
Just like screenshot it.
Any final thoughts, I guess?
I had it up here.
So I think that... Okay, well, I'll let you do your thing.
Oh, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Screw Travis.
Because I didn't really have anything anyways.
Moving on. So this topic is called My Strongest Blank. Zeth states, for us, we've played with a lot of high-end cards for a while now, and with more cards coming in, we can reflect on what cards have been our strongest and maybe even come to terms with why we can't let them go out of our arsenal and still fit them into decks that are possible. So...
what does he mean by high-end? Just so they know the explanation for that.
I wish he was here to describe this.
As someone who loves to abuse, quote unquote, the high end stuff, I think I'll start off on this one. So high end is like Famfrit last format, Renoa, see what else is there. Amaterasu, Neo X Death, Tenzin.
Those cards that just put you ahead of your opponent.
Those cards
they're
that
the-
you slam this on the board and your opponent is like, this again? Like, those cards definitely can inspire that sort of reaction, especially when it's something like Amaterasu. Oh, I'll play this Amaterasu, cancel your thing, I'll pick it back up because I'm playing Mono Fire and my deck's really cool and intricate
It's really cool.
and very
Yeah, it was
interactive.
Really fun to watch James roll his eyes after I played 2 Tellas and I kept pitching Amaterasu to 9k a dude off board.
Yeah.
And then I picked back up Amaterasu with like Red Mage or Tella because Tella just picks it up on play.
Yeah. So it's stuff like that. Honestly, for this, I want to say it's probably Lock. I want to jam Lock in almost every deck that I play because that card is just so insane. It gives you so many options and the card is just so free. Like, it literally rewards you just for playing the game and just playing those colors and playing cards. Like, and there's so many things you can play with the card to make it even better. Like the 1 CP Alexander that says draw a card. If your opponent's taken 5 or more damage, draw 2 cards instead. Or the 1 CP Ashura that says ready 5 backups. Or the 2 CP Valifor that says ready all your backups if you have a Yuna. Stuff like that. It's just really good with all of those effects and anything that you can like cast cheaply.
Byron.
So
Ooh, hold on. Let me see if I can. Here, I'm gonna guess what card you're thinking. Right? Sorry, give me 1 sec. I need to write this down. We're gonna go a big ass Z. I. How do you spell Zidane? That's the card. It's Zidane.
It's Zidane.
joke's on you. It's Fanfrit.
Oh shit!
Is it actually?
No, so like,
It was Zidane. I was right.
yeah, it's a thing because we talked about it before the podcast.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, in general, I think
so-
we mentioned it before. It's like,
Yeah.
Zidane is in my top 5 as well
Which
for like
one, though?
for the 2 CP Water Zidane.
That's the one I want to talk about because like
well, literally none of. Okay, so I'll be fair. I'll level. Both of the win Zidanes are, except for the Chibi one, are actually really good.
Yeah.
Like the one that can't be targeted by summons, and whenever they pitch a character from their hand, you get a thing. That's good. So is the one that says on play, just look at their hand, rip a card, and then if they have 2 or less cards in hand, it's a 7k.
Yeah.
Like they're both really good.
for me, like overall through the time that I've played Final Fantasy, Zidane has been like that one card that I've always been drawn to, no matter what element it was under.
I mean, it says Pot of Greed if it touches them, and it's unblockable sometimes.
So like I've always been drawn to them, and I think that definitely the water CP, the 2 CP water one is the better one currently.
Well, yeah,
and I think just the pure advantage that it can gain, or like just having your opponent want to be able to get rid of it right away. Like sometimes they overpay to get rid of that one card, so then you're in a little bit better position. I think it just offers a lot for you. So like you can gain advantage if you actually attack. Your opponent overpays to try to kill it, so then you're ahead a little bit. So it just offers a lot for you. So I definitely think Zidane to me is like my high end card.
yeah. So that card is so good that like 2-drops in general are getting so good that people are actually starting to play like the 3 CP Odin in Lightning, the one that says kill a 2-drop or less and draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
People are actually starting to run that card just because
You
there's
have things like Shadow Lord that run about, and like somehow your opponent just doesn't have a 2-drop backup in hand.
Yeah.
You Shadow Lord, and then you go, hey, I'm gonna pay this 1. He's got Brave, and you can't trigger EX Burst on him, and he's a 2-drop 9k.
Mhm.
Like,
like
insane.
that Zidane, Alba. God,
Alba's really
I
good.
eats your shit.
I hate Alba so much.
That was funny.
I
He
play
cruised that game on that card.
I play so many recursion based decks, and Alba is just like, so I heard you wanted to get your summons back, huh? How about instead I eat 2 cards from your break zone and become an 8k with haste?
This is where Byron goes. So I heard you wanted to play recursion. Turns the chair around and sits down. Let me tell you why this is a bad idea, buddy. This is why you're wrong.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
dude.
Alba's
honestly,
definitely a really good card.
Yeah.
It's insane. I mean, obviously power creep's a thing, but like the 2-drops just do a lot. They're easy to get off board usually, but they give you so much benefit if your opponent just can't deal with them.
It's like it makes the meta bring in some of these cards that were being phased out back, just because, like you said, the 2-drops are starting to become stronger. So then they're more relevant.
Cards that like weren't really that relevant beforehand. So because like people really didn't play the 3 CP Odin at all before this, I don't think. Maybe if there was like a meta where Chocobos were really good, that card might have seen play, but I don't think there was really anything else where you like, oh man, I really need to kill some 2-drops or less. Like I really need to.
I mean, I know Mono Lightning players probably play the card a lot, but like Kuja, for instance.
Yeah.
You don't see Kuja as much anymore because a lot of people are just playing things that are like 4 costs that just net them all the value they need with their ETBs or 4 or higher. Kuja hits the 2 costs.
I mean, Kuja is going to be really good after this new set with Arctis.
Yup.
Or Axstar, I should say. So if you guys don't know what Axstar does, he is a 4 CP fire forward 8K. On play, you choose an EX burst in your damage zone, and you replay that effect as this card's effect text. And then damage 3, you on play search for an FFBE character, which basically this entire next set is just filled with FFBE.
Yep.
It's actually like that card is so good.
So I guess it's my turn.
Really quick, I just want to say something on Axstar. I think that card is really creative in design, just because it gives you something that hasn't been there before, which you can touch your EX burst.
They're interacting with a zone that you're not supposed to interact, or
now
normally
you can.
Yeah, that you're normally not.
I think that is
able to.
super cool.
Yeah, and that's good design.
You think that's gonna happen a lot more now? Then
I don't know.
Maybe
I wouldn't
maybe
mind.
It depends on the reception of the card.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if there was a couple more, but I don't want there to be. I don't want it to be overplayed. I don't want it to be, drawn out where there's like tons of them.
You should see. So I guess for instance, then to compare that to Dragon Ball has with the newest current set has finally started touching cards in life when it comes to manipulating your life. Because at first they had a Trunks leader who was like, I'll flip this card over. You essentially don't take crit and you can show it to your opponent. If you show it to your opponent, do cool stuff.
So
now it's like King Piccolo, for instance. Take a card from your life face up, or put a card from deck in a life face up, combo with a card from life face up, and then that card usually just free plays itself after. And you get to move everything around and reorganize it how you want.
So I am what you would call an equality gamer. I think that every element should have one of these, or something that touches the damage zone. So a really cool idea I thought of for like the wind one would be you choose a card in your damage zone, put it into your hand, and then put the top card of your deck into your damage zone.
I think that'd be really cool, just because it gives a card to that element that touches that zone that wasn't supposed to be touched.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like gives them their own special effect
pertaining
to their element, which I think would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and I think that's why every element should like have one that does that, and it's tailor suited to what the element wants to do.
That'd be cool.
Because honestly, the fire one makes sense. They have a lot of EX bursts that go into their damage zone that they want to reuse.
Like Cloud, oh my god.
Yeah,
that'd be the funniest thing to be at like damage 5 and be like, hey, look at Cloud again.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is like they may be kind of unique to their own colors, but they're still playable in multi-element shells. Yeah. So like the fire one is really, really good for fire, but it's also good with every element, just in general. Yeah. And I'm down for there to be like 7 of them in total, 1 for each element.
Yeah.
Including light and dark.
It'd be cool. All right, no.
So I guess this is my turn. I honestly can't think of a card that I try to put in every deck that isn't just like a staple for the color. Because like I always like putting Lael or summoners in decks, but that's usually just to stop summons. They go in whatever color you play. So what do you... I'm throwing this to you guys. If you've noticed anything that I just like to play a lot within the decks that I have built or I've shown you that I've attempted to build.
So you're an enigma because you don't really play the same stuff at all. Like literally,
I fucking bounce.
Every time I bring you a deck idea or you make a deck, it's always completely different from the last deck you built, and so it's like. There's really no, like, patterns. There's no rhyme or reason. It doesn't make any sense. But you do it anyway.
I just feel... So, like if I play water deck, Zidane's a staple. That's how I view it. I don't
Yeah.
view it as I need this card. I'm just like, it's a staple. Throw it in. If I don't need it, I'll swap it with something else.
Yeah.
I think the decks color wise or element wise that I played the most, that I've had the most enjoyment, is Fire Ice. But like even then, it was Fire Ice 6. Now it's Fire Ice Tax, which doesn't need any of 6's stuff.
Correct.
So it's even more off put.
I think you stay definitely to the category that you're playing for
I
sure.
do.
Because like like you could say like when you're playing your Lightning Earth Turks, yeah. Cloud, I think Cloud was probably like your favorite card to put in because like you at first you didn't have, I don't think you tried it at first, but then you put it in.
I didn't
once it came out, or
try
I don't
Turks until Cloud came out.
Okay, so yeah.
Once Cloud came out, I was like, holy shit, Turks can work.
Yeah. Once Cloud came out, once Cloud came out, I went to the starter deck tournament that they had at LWG, the one that I won because that deck was so unevenly matched against the fucking Lightning deck. It was actually insane. And I was like, Noah, man, you got to play Cloud.
Yeah.
Cloud
And then
is
I built
broken.
Turks, and Turks
I was
just
like-
functions.
I was like, Cloud is actually broken.
it's the funniest thing that your opponent can like put like a Zidane out, and then I go like turn 1, I'm like Cloud Rufus, and my opponent's like, okay, I'll play the Zidane, doesn't matter anyways, and I'm like, oh cool, Cloud pop Rufus, kill the Zidane, play whatever like a Barrett or something. Like it's nice. Every card in that deck builds into another card off of Cloud, so it just functions well. I think if I play 7, Cloud is a staple if I put Earth in the deck.
So I something like I've kind of seen that you don't necessarily cross elements across the decks that you do have played so far, because like Turks you played Lightning Earth, and then you played Fire Ice, and then now you also played the XYZ.
Deck. Yeah, that was
there
were 2 different elements I
wind
tried. I tried Wind Ice, which I enjoyed a lot more than Earth. Wind had more searching, but Wind Ice was just so much more fun for me.
Yeah.
So
And that was like the first deck that you like actually crossed into elements that you've played before.
Yeah, because you played the Wind Ice Mill deck with the
that was something to go back to because I hated that deck.
Yeah.
We thought it would work, but when you don't
just
have a searcher for Valor, you just sit there and get annoyed.
Just not drawing the Valor just felt awful.
So like, but if you had to choose a card that you would like to keep playing and that you would consider if you're touching that element to put in.
See, that's a good question then. Probably Barley, honestly.
Yeah.
I think if
Barley is sweet.
Because like I've thought about building a Wind Ice discard deck and just revolving around Barley's Dual Freeze ability.
That was one of the ideas that
Skeletoad always triggers it, and then whatever other cards you play like Zidane always trigger it. You play Kazuya or whatever, so on play they pitch.
So I think if you're playing that shell, you actually don't play, or you can play the Zidane that rips from hand, but you want to play the Zidane that's on attack, rip a character from the, or rip a forward from their hand, because then whenever they discard, you get to ready something.
Yeah, and I Dole Freeze something in the process.
So it's ready one of my things, Dole Freeze one of yours, and it's really
like it's still a deck I want to build. I don't know if I can get it up and running yet.
I want to build. So the deck that I've been like intensely thinking about building for a little bit now is Earth Lightning 14, because I think Earth Lightning 14 has a lot of legs. Don't play Scions. There's no reason.
You can play a base Scion line. You don't go any further than so the way I built it, right? You play the generically good Scion stuff, and then everything else is 14, and like staple stuff that you would put in the deck.
So I don't think you really need to play Scions at all. Honestly, you can just play the generically good 14 stuff and generic. Well, you can play Urianger. But that doesn't mean you have to play other Scions.
That says draw a card.
Yeah, because Urianger just says draw a card. You don't actually care about the other Scions, though. But, like, so that way you just have, like, generically good threats, because Lightning and Earth tend to have, like, the best.
Hi, and welcome to the ads. This week we are brought to you by Cards Custom Builds. Are you into cosplay? Are you looking to get into cosplay? In the future, do you want to show up at your favorite event dressed up as your favorite character? Well, then Card Custom Builds is here to help. Cards Custom Builds Creates everything from props and trinkets and weaponries all the way up to full costumes. I've seen some of the costumes that they made. They are all fantastic. They're really good stuff. If you would like to get some awesome things for your cosplay or just cool stuff to have around, if you want to throw a Halloween party at the end of the year and be like the talk of your Halloween party, please go check out Cards Custom Builds over at Facebook and tell them about TCG University. Say that we sent you and you'll get 5% off your entire order. Please do this. They do a bunch of things over there. Clay is making a lot of really cool stuff. He makes coasters too. If you want to go get coasters, I think he's selling them on Etsy and on Facebook. So please, if you want to get some cool stuff for your cosplay or for anything, go check out Cards Custom Builds and tell them that we sent you. This week, we are also brought to you by Dex Protections. Dex Protections is in a never-ending pursuit to create the highest quality storage and protection accessories. Their designs and innovation come from die-hard gamers and collectors just like you, so you know that what they make is stuff that you will want to buy, because they are also making stuff that they would want to buy. They are on a never-ending pursuit to create the best product, and that is why they are the leader in the industry in creating accessories for your deck products. Please, if you would like to go get some new stuff for when we're finally able to go out into public and go to tournaments and stuff, go to Deck Protections, and there'll be a link down in the description down below for that. Please go check them out. We're also brought to you this week by Red Ride Games. They are a Canada-based online seller of things like Universes, MTG, and Pokemon. They're friends of the show. We like them a whole lot. Please, 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 please go to redridegames.ca and check out all their singles there. And when you check out, use creator code TCGU to help support the show and help support them. It would be greatly appreciated. We like them a whole lot, and we would love it if you would use them to buy some singles for any upcoming tournaments that you might have towards the end of the year. Thank you. We'll get back to the show.
Byron, you had a question?
We're back.
Welcome back.
We should probably just put an ad. There was an ad there. I don't know what happened though. we cut out.
I mean, that actually would work.
Yeah.
Good idea.
You're welcome.
Saving James some brain space that he needs.
Now you have the perfect space for your ad.
Yeah. Okay. Did you want to finish your thought? Because you were saying something in the as that cut out. If you
think
remember
you
what your
remember
thought
something.
was.
No, not really. Oh, I wanted to build
Okay.
FF14 good stuff. Or honestly, it's just like Earth Lightning good stuff.
That was like the last minute we cut off.
Yeah, I want to play like Earth Lightning good stuff, or I just want to play good stuff stacks. Good stuff stacks are
That's
so
literally Travis.
good
Always.
stuff stacks are so cool in this
Do
game.
you think if you like toned your booty down and you went with like 2 or 3 colors instead of your 5 or 6, that your good stuff stacks would be super consistent and always get you what you wanted instead of you sitting there drawing and going,
So, I think
it
that's
was only this CP card.
so. I
That's
think
always it.
that's more of an issue of like just having dark cards, which I don't even play that many.
No, because I remember specific games where you're like, man, if I had drawn this water card instead of this ice card, I'm like, quit playing 3 colors.
Well, no, because the colors are consistent 90% of the time.
I'm the 10%.
There's a lot of that 10% happening though.
I
We
mean,
love you.
not really. The deck, at least,
Did you draw the right colors when you played me last week?
that is a different deck, though. That's a different deck.
Just
That is. So that had nothing to do with colors, actually. That had to do with me not hitting any EX bursts in my 30 EX burst
That is
deck.
a thing too. I remember that. You go. All right, here we go.
I'm literally.
They're like playing with James. Like,
I'm
just like,
literally
damn.
sitting here. I have 30 EX bursts in my deck. It takes me to damage 6 to get an EX burst, and it's not even an EX burst that actually mattered at damage 6.
Did that happen all 3 games? That we
Yes. Every single game. And then game 2, this person right here, I kill his Thancred, draw 2, play another Thancred. Okay.
Dude, I swear one of the funniest things I've ever done with Thancred is willingly like block with it or let my opponent kill it and then just be like, Lunafrey out. Mid-Sid.
Dang.
Here we come again. I think that's super funny. You do just want to play against. Man, dude, like,
Good Stuff's decks
I-
are just so cool.
I want to play a deck at this point that tells my opponent that they have to try really hard to do one or two things that should be super simple. I think the Tax Ice deck is funny because it says, hey, you want to play that summon, it costs 1 extra, and you have to pay 3 to target my dude.
Yeah, I think that deck is your play style to a T right
It
now.
is. I said it while playtesting. I was like, I don't care if I lose. I'm having so much fun.
And
with
I
this
don't
deck.
even think it's that bad. Also, I realized the what's his face, the one that stopped autos, it doesn't stop all autos.
No, it stops ETBs.
It just stops
Yeah,
the
that's what I
ETBs.
said.
Yeah.
Zeth must have misheard
Yeah.
and thought we were talking about something. No, it only stops ETBs.
Yes.
Which is still really
Or-
good in a format that's dominated by ETBs.
Or things that would trigger an ETB.
Yeah.
So
Ferris never gets to trigger again. So if like my opponent's playing a Warrior Light deck, Ferris never goes off.
yeah.
Beatrix never goes off.
Yep. Stuff like that.
Insane.
What about Ninja, the Ninja deck?
It
Edge.
does not trigger
Edge.
edge.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Because-
get his counters.
Yep, because it is a character entering the battlefield that would trigger another triggered ability.
He still gets everything cost less. He just doesn't get the ability to be like, hey, look, Shuriken counter.
He doesn't get to be the Umezawa's Jit,
Yeah.
which is literally what it is, which is, for reference, an older, very powerful Magic the Gathering artifact that like can remove counters to deal damage to stuff and does a million other things for whatever reason.
You had a question, though.
I already forgot it. It was about Barley.
Yeah.
Oh,
on it.
would you
Yeah.
would you jam it in everything, or is it something that you would jam if it was possible?
No, that wasn't actually it.
I
Was it
I mean
something
that's what
like
I
that?
said.
It was kind of like that. That's what he said.
So
Yeah, that's what I said.
I don't know.
Okay, so let me try to think. Okay, ready? So I think what I was asking
not ready
was, I'll wait.
Okay, now I'm good.
Okay, good. So I was trying to ask because, like, for me and Travis, we seem to like kind of go back to the certain element that has this one card that we like playing with a lot. So like we have, I've played fire, water. I've played mono water, and I'm playing water
Is
lightning.
it Fanfrit?
No, I wish.
It's the name. We
I-
know, but
yeah.
I still want to ask.
I mean, Fanford. I do love Fanford.
Everything dies to Fanfrit.
I
Exactly.
love Fanfrit. Fanfrit's so cool.
It's such a good card.
Shirts
Shirts coming soon. Bye, James. But yeah, so like we tend to go back to this element and we explore it with crossing it with other elements because we like this card and somehow like it's not maybe we don't do it on purpose, but it somehow ends up being that way.
Mm-hmm.
So like for Barley, like you've played with it in one deck right now, right? So like to you, do you consider like is it your high end card that you would try to like make other decks with other elements that isn't just wind ice?
So that's another thing to be said is like I don't even know if I like. Yes, Barley is a good card, but I don't think I would consider Barley powerful enough to be a high end card.
Yeah.
I think he would definitely be a key piece card. Like he in the Wind
So-
Ice discard, he's the linchpin.
So
I wouldn't.
he's a build around is what I would
Yeah,
call him.
you build
so
around Barley,
if
you
if
don't
the
put
deck
him
is
in.
built around Barley, then yes, you need to answer him. If you're just throwing Barley in your deck, who cares? It's
Yeah,
not gonna do enough.
Unfortunately, I don't think I've come to the. I think we're getting there, but I don't think I've come to the point where I've been able to pick like a solid element and be like, this is the element I like the most. Because I bounce around so much. Like I've been looking at all the different deck lists I've written up, and I've gone through fire ice, wind earth, wind ice, fire water, fire lightning,
Honestly,
fire earth.
I love all of
Earth,
the elements
lightning.
in this game so
Like they're
much.
all so good that it just
I can't pick a favorite.
I did water.
Yes, you. Fucking
I
can.
mean, if I had to pick my least favorite, it's fire by far.
Mine's light. That counts.
I mean, yes, they are.
I
elements.
only say
They-
this because Travis made what I thought was the coolest light deck ever, and then it spit in my face. I'm done taking advice from you. This is why I make my own deck.
Yeah, no. A lot of the time, I build you a deck, and then you play the deck, and you're like, "Man, this deck shit," and then I pilot the deck, and I fucking stomp people with
No,
it.
it still spits in your face.
No, and it's
Both
like,
of those deck, both the mill deck and in the end,
Okay,
that light deck spit in the face. The mill deck was just terrible.
the
We
mill
both
deck.
agree.
That mill deck was just bad.
In general, we thought it was a great idea. It just sucked.
Yeah,
The,
mainly because we didn't have summon searches
light
for
deck-
Valifor.
just spit in my face because he was like, "It's how you shuffle." I was like, "Sure it is. I don't care. It's spitting in my face, giving me 3 light cards and 2 win CP. 4 win CP.
The light deck was actually good though.
It might be better now. It wasn't then.
No. When I played that deck, because I actually played that deck to a 3-0 finish against like actual decks.
Who played those decks? What actual decks? I want to know all these details.
It was back when Rampier was legal.
Did you play Rampier?
I played against Rampier. I played against Shane playing his Rampier list.
All right, that's credible.
And I also played against
Chocobo's list. I don't know.
No. That was back when Chris McKinney was still playing Weewa. I played against his Weewa list and I won. Which was also a credible deck.
Dude, that deck punched me in like the gut, kicked me to the ground, spit in my face, and asked me where my dad was. Like, it was bad.
You were also new back then.
Yeah,
I was.
That is correct.
That was like.
You also didn't have the Magic experience to just pick up the game and be automatically good at it.
I've tried Magic.
Oh, I think Travis is trying to toot his own horn over there.
I mean,
he's been tooting it.
I literally got first to the first tournament I went to, and I beat Shane in the finals. Come on.
He goes Magic experience, and I was like, yeah, sure.
Now, only if that can translate to actual big events.
Yeah. I have to go to big events first.
Ooh. Oh wait.
Have you been to some?
Not for FF.
Well, not necessarily FF, other card games. You haven't topped in any.
Sure, James, over here just looking.
So the only like actual events I've been to is I went to the Omaha PTC twice, and then back when I was on a real hiatus from Weiss, I went to a Weiss Wars regional for teams and paired myself with randoms playing probably the worst deck I could have possibly played.
Which was?
Old school Madoka Magica. And this was when we had stuff like TLR and Sunshine in the format. So there was, no. Although I did get to meet one of the coolest people I've ever met at like any event. His name was Ace Hope. I shit you not, his name was Ace Hope. I was like, that is a really cool name. That is a card game protagonist name.
You have crazy hair or like a cool hat or something? Or
no, not really.
Walk around with a dual disc strapped to his back because that's the way you do it now? You want a duel? Let's go. Like, dude.
All right, we're getting sidetracked.
No.
Thank you.
So, yeah, and then there was a Vanguard Regionals that I went to. Actually, there have been 2 Weiss Regionals that I went to. One, I whiffed top 8 because my teammate misplaced a card and got judge damaged.
He will not be named.
He shall not be named.
It was Mike.
No, it wasn't.
It was Mike. That's why he tries to kill him in Among Us now.
No. It was not. And then there was a Vanguard Regionals I went to where one of my teammates, yet again, I went 7-1 that day playing the best deck in the format. He went the opposite because he said, hey, do I play heals? Nah, fuck it. That's for pussies. I'm going to play 16 crit Sanctuary Guard Dragon, and I'm going to lose every game because I don't have heals.
Dang.
I was livid because if we... Literally, I lost to the team in both of these events. My only loss was to the team that won the entire event. I'm like, come on, man.
Dang.
Still no tops, though.
Still no tops.
Literally bubbled twice, but yeah.
He's a bubble man.
I am bubble man now.
Nate's more of a bubble man, but we'll get
True.
back to that later. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't have that one card. Like, Barlight is the card I would like to fit in every deck, but with the elements it plays, it just doesn't fit in every deck that I want to play.
Yeah.
I want to play everything. I bounce around too much. Moving on, though. This is another Zeth topic. This is the homie game. Scalper's Paradise.
Insert remix of Gangster's Paradise here, but it's just Scalper's Paradise.
Dude, I definitely just had that up, and now I'm really annoyed again. Ad break, just kidding.
Ad break.
Didn't Weird Al make a remix of that?
Yeah, he did.
Probably.
Then he should make us a remix for this one.
Yeah,
Amish
he
Paradise.
got in trouble for it because LL Cool J was like, "No, you couldn't actually do that," and he thought he could. And It's still a good song. Continuing.
And the scalpers.
So Scalper's Paradise, that states, this really needs to be addressed. As of currently, when he sent this, someone sold a foil Opus 1 Cloud for $1,600, and Opus 11 is on the rise. Pricing, which means singles will go up in price as well. He puts in parentheses,
All right.
looking at you, FA Tifa, who was already $250. He's very passionate about cards, and seeing secondary market run rails like this is something that he thinks we should at least talk about or do a PSA to help new players from not getting scalped. So
Really quick, was that Wave 1 foil cloud?
it probably was.
Because, I mean, otherwise,
I
that's
never paid
silly.
attention to the wave stuff until I saw
Yeah.
some dude post like a 8 CP Sephiroth, and he was like, "What's the difference between Wave 1 and Wave 2?" And like I was like, "Dude, what the hell?"
Actually, really quick, there's a person that posted in one of the Final Fantasy groups on Facebook. Actually, he posted where it actually explains all the differences between Wave 1 and Wave 2 for Opus 1, which is really cool. I haven't looked at it yet, but it's kind of cool to just have all that information because it can be kind of tough on certain aspects of trying to figure out if it's Wave 1 or Wave 2. Anyways, go ahead.
All right, the hair is coming back down for this.
Oh Jesus!
I have no respect for scalpers. You actively go out and you make this game not only harder to play for newer players because you raise prices and inflate them through the roof for your own monetary gain. You have a potential to just kill the secondary market outright by yourself because of the things that you're doing. And thusly, I can't have any respect for scalpers at all. Scalpers they don't make anything better. They just tend to make things worse. The secondary market goes to shit, and prices like this exist.
But here's my thing with that. Like, I agree. I don't like scalpers either. But I think with Final Fantasy, the fact that there are the cards that are being sold for these crazy amounts, some of those are not good. And then some of those cards have a non-foil version of it. So you're still able to play the game because it's cheaper. But I understand, like, full arts right now, like, kind of crazy, like Tifa.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like on TCG Player, just because people have either bought it out or nobody's selling it enough. Tifa Full Art market price is around $251, probably what
it's
it's
what
pretty
it should
it's around
be.
what it would have been at.
Yeah.
Expensive, yes, but it's a full art
Excuse me.
foil Tifa.
And there's a non-foil that you can play.
Which is fine.
Current pricing, because there's only 2 people selling it, lowest price is $580. The other one's $1,000.
Which is just absurd.
Let
Not
me-
even in the ballpark of what that card should be.
Let me get into it with this.
Opus 11, right?
11, yeah. That one. Yep, full art.
That's a full art, but that's not a foil full art, right?
Yeah, it's a full art. It's a foil.
It looks like it only comes in full.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. The full arts the full arts for the most part only come in foil unless they're promos.
Yeah.
Last sold one was 900.
That's
That
disgusting.
actually sold for 900.
That
Sold 900.
That's so crazy.
that's actually disappointing.
Man.
So let me put my 2 cents in, right? So
Lowest listing right now is 580.
yeah.
scalpers in general get a bad rep for a credible reason. You're buying out a product and turning around and selling it at almost double the price, like with PS5s, to make a profit. When you look at it from like a business standpoint, hey, we're making money, people are buying us out. But when you look at it from a consumer standpoint, it's like, dude, like I would like to have this, and you're the reason I can't afford it now. Even especially if like you barely make it up to that price margin to buy that item there. I think the way to deal with it is very simple, but it's hard. Don't buy the card or don't buy the product.
Boycott, basically.
Sooner or later, they'll find out you don't want it. Or what I've seen happen with Dragon Ball, for instance, because the price for Dragon Ball are ridiculous for a lot of things anyways. Awakened Power is like over $1,000 depending, because it's no longer in print and it's the only true victory strike, quote unquote. There's 2, but it's another one of the good ones. Apex has gone up with it. People like the auction house, people are seeing like these prices are ridiculous, and like I've seen people try and sell the set 2 Vegito SCR for like over $200 and something, and people are like,
Which
"You're
that
bidding.
card
We're gonna bid 150 at max usually."
Yeah.
They'll bid like 100 at max, or like I bought mine for 45, turned around and sold it for 300.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I mean that card should not be more than 50.
It shouldn't be more than 100 in my opinion.
Like
At the peak of when Red Vegeta was more playable, 100. After that, I think it should stay there or go lower.
literally, there was a point when that card was $10.
Yeah.
Actually, just $10 for a secret rare. There's also, I think the Uben Uben
3,000 now for the
Uben
Awakened Power.
Kid Goku secret rare was also like $8 at one point, and
Well,
that card went back up.
That was probably also because World Martial Arts Tournament had came out around that time, and World Martial Arts Tournament was just easy as shit to get your hands on.
Correct.
And that card was, in my opinion, super easy to pull as an SCR because I played in like 2 drafts and pulled 2 copies of it.
Yeah,
And
I
still
definitely
have a copy
pulled
of it
one.
that I'm sitting on just for fun. Like,
Yeah, I mean, if World Tournament stuff ever actually gets more good support, that card will probably see play.
Tien has.
Yeah.
Tien's gotten some really cool support. But besides the point, like dealing, it's hard to figure out how to deal with scalpers. I think it's real funny because like Pokemon's going through the same issue, and McDonald's was like, "Yo, you can't buy the toys unless you buy a Happy Meal," and people are still doing stuff like that. I've seen arguments in Facebook where people are like complaining about like scalpers are arguing with each other about who's worse, and I'm like, dude, you're both kind of
So
Scumbags.
Literally every card game.
it is.
Yeah.
It happens.
And that's the thing. The thing is that I feel like
Sometimes it's healthy, sometimes it's not. That's
yeah,
the issue.
but like if it wasn't for the pandemic, which I honestly thought cards would go lower.
I did too.
I thought the cards were going to be at a reasonable price for like they're going to be dropping price, right?
yeah.
But it's actually having the opposite effect that it's raising these cards because people are kind of going stir crazy.
That's what I wanted to touch on. I think that's a very good point. So what I've seen is, I think at the beginning, people were just trying to get rid of them for money.
Yep.
Which they were probably low around. After that, they all spiked. Pokemon got real big what seemingly out of nowhere with card prices and stuff. Like Pokemon's always had like high value cards. Every card game does, but like it got really big out of nowhere. Like people are lining up at Targets now, waiting for them to put it on the shelves. James' eyes. This is funny. I went to a Target looking for the new Battle Evolution stuff for Dragon Ball, and in turn of looking for that, some dude came up to me and was like, "You looking for Pokemon?" And there was no Pokemon on the shelves after he said that. Like I looked just to make sure, and I was like, "No, not really." And he goes,
God.
"Okay, well if you're looking for any, I have some in the back of my trunk." And I was like, "Hell no! You did not just try to sell me Pokemon cards that you probably got 5 minutes ago." Like he was hanging around the area.
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, what the like? It comes to a point where I feel like they have to do that. They have to like be in your face and push it to you so you can get it. Because if he doesn't do that, he probably just loses money.
Yeah.
Which that's fine. If you want to perform that practice, you need to do it not only at your own risk, but
It's
you
a
need
risk
to
reward.
you need to understand that you have zero right to be angry if not only the stuff you bought goes lower in price, and B, if no one buys from you.
It's
Because there's absolutely no reason for them to do
the
so.
secondary market in card games is like the stock market in real life. You can choose to buy and invest in different cards and hold on to them to hope the value goes up.
Yep.
And sometimes it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like-
It's actually literally card games are an investment.
Yeah. There are some ways that you can cheat the system, like the secret rares and the high rarity pulls and stuff. But even then, there are cases where they're not good.
I think the secondary market's already dying.
You want to come talk? You should come over
Hey,
because
hey,
you're
come-
you guys on the same
Yeah,
come,
come-
yeah,
come-
just for a minute.
Come on here, James, our lovely
Opinion
producer.
from our TCG player seller.
I think the secondary market's already dying. It's going to keep dying because people are going to keep buying cards. I think the companies that make the card games need to kill the secondary market. Just explode the products they release.
More supply.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot more supply.
Increase the demand.
Well, like, so think about it, right? So I think a good example would be Digimon. When Digimon was in its pre-release stage, prices were what I want to say is ludicrous. I don't want to pay $60 for a base Lilithmon. A foil full art being up to 100 sometimes, or the full art or alt art. God, somebody shoot me.
They were short print though.
Well, yeah, that's fine, but like, still, it just seemed like a high price. After the game was officially released, the prices dropped down a lot more.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, but like, that's just because the supply was there again.
And
you
I
know
don't.
what other game has absurd scalper prices?
Flesh and Blood.
Flesh and Blood.
That
I mean, Weiss Schwarz,
kinda.
yes, but Flesh and Blood, actually, yes.
it's crazy.
I don't know. I don't want to turn this into us complaining about scalpers, but we should also offer solutions too.
So like right now, I don't think
You
that
should
there
explain the Flesh
is.
and Blood thing though, because I'm kind of curious.
So,
after
What?
Byron.
I don't think there's an actual like solution at this very moment aside from more supply, but that's kind of hard because that's the issue that most companies are running in, right? They can't have the supply right now.
they can't like justify making more supply because they can't guarantee that they're going to have like that supply is actually going to sell.
Yeah.
So like if I make 6,000 boxes or 7,000 boxes or whatever, and I only have 5,000 people that buy a single box, I just printed 2,000 boxes for no reason, and I lost a lot of money.
Like it may seem like right now there is enough people that would buy that product, but like it might not actually happen, and that's like you're kind of what you're pointing out,
Yeah.
right? That it's kind of like a what is it? Dice roll.
Yeah. So like I think that's another thing is like the main reason honestly why card games are like thriving right now is we have a lot of casual players that are just getting into these games because there's nothing better to do. One of the best things that you can do with like one-on-one, just two people, like a very small amount of people, is card games or board games. So like that's part of the reason why honestly the secondary market is dying, but at the same time it's also kind of thriving and people are actually buying things. So I think it's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time.
Yeah, I think Final Fantasy isn't as bad as other card games right now, right?
Yeah.
Full
think
arts,
that's where it is.
I think full arts are crazy. Yeah, it's kind of crazy
Which,
what some
honestly-
prices are going for. But overall, as Final Fantasy compared to other card games, it's not as bad right now.
So I see full arts the way I see SPs and Weiss. Like they're these big chased cards that are just like, they're high rarity. You don't need them. It doesn't really matter what the prices on them are unless you're actively going after them.
Yeah.
Like Nate going after his 0-0 Rim SPs and paying like almost 300 something a piece, and I'm like,
Yep.
I could build like 7 different decks with that money.
Yeah.
Yep.
You buy 3 playsets each.
Yep.
3 playsets total.
3
Yeah,
playsets
like-
total, yeah.
It's insane. I think Weiss was a great example. Weiss's SPs are pricey, and
Yeah. They
comparing them to the foil full arts. Yeah, Final Fantasy's foil full arts are like that upper the top echelon of.
Yeah.
I want the
Which,
shiny.
like, could you imagine how much more expensive the full arts would be if they were like Weiss SPs and they were signed by like the actual voice actors?
That'd be so cool, but
Out
so
of-
crazy.
Literally
you say
out
that,
of the universe.
Because we're gonna take one right now for Dragon Ball. Right?
Those prices would be
So,
astronomical.
Dragon Ball's the Tournament of Power set had signed cards for Trunks, Vegeta, Beerus, and Frieza. Right, just those 4. Yeah, so that Beerus is as low as 404 right now, but it should be around like $200 something.
Do you
I had
really?
a signed Frieza that
Sell
I
it.
bought for like $45
Quick sell.
over a year ago, and that card is skyrocketed up. The Vegeta is at like $750 at the lowest one on TCG right now.
Yep.
The highest is $1,600.
This is like what?
That card's not good.
It's a draft box piece.
Draft.
It's $32.
Are you saying is the price too high?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Dragon Ball draft boxes. Dragon Ball draft box cards. I guess this just a random little fun tidbit.
Oh my
is
god.
the biggest killer in the secondary
Yeah.
market. For
So
Dragon Ball.
yeah, draft
Because
boxes.
those cards somehow become relevant when they're draft box cards.
Yeah.
Like Topo. Remember when Topo first came out? And no, everybody wanted Topo because it says stop your opponent's turn basically for 2 energy. And it was a draft box card. That card used to go for like $60 to $100 or plus for play sets and stuff. Now that card's like $20 at max for a play set.
So that is a prime example of what
They reprinted it.
that is.
Reprints.
So draft
That's what I get
boxes in Dragon Ball are a prime example of a no-no when it comes to printing product, because they're not only they're basically short printed, they're hard to find, they're more expensive, there's less print run, like that is not something, that is not a product that's good for the game. It just isn't. And it's the same way for any card game that has like a premium product like that, where you can only get this specific set of cards from this like premium product.
I mean, it's starting to get that way with Opus 1 and Opus 2 and 3, right? Because those are technically going out.
So
right? And the only way to get them now would be from what's currently out there or the 10s.
Yeah, well, I think they're still producing some packs for Opus, like the beginning Opus. I don't actually know, but I mean, that's definitely like how it is with like Wave 1, Wave 2 for Final Fantasy Opus 1. Like, there's definitely a higher premium to get that Wave 1.
I mean, it's like so Wave 1 and Wave 2 are kind of like alpha and beta for Magic, I'd say. Like there's the first print run, and then there's like the secondary print run where they have like a bunch of stuff from the first print run, but it's like worth less because it's not from the first print run. And that's kind of like how that works on Wave 1 versus Wave 2. I don't know if there are like any actual differences aside from printing, but
yeah.
But yeah. So I think we went into this topic enough.
Yep.
My final thoughts on this are just don't be that guy or girl or whoever. Just
person.
Don't be that person.
I mean, if somebody does it, honestly, at this point, it's more of it's a risk reward. Like, you should know what you're getting into. That's how I view it. You should understand what you're doing. You should understand that if it completely falls, it's on you because you took that choice. It's not somebody else's fault.
Yep.
I think the only ways you can get around it are to attempt a boycott. People try to auction things off, go as low as possible, because that's a really good way to deal with it. Or there's more of the product put out, or reprints. Reprints seem to always be a good way to deal with card like that too. Like Sephiroth's gonna go down in price once the boss deck comes out.
Yep.
It's reprinted.
It already has a little bit too. Like, it already dropped a little
people are
bit.
getting ready
Even speculation, yes, will bring down prices or bring up prices depending.
So yeah, we covered a topic by Byron. We covered 2 by Zeth. If he wants to add anything else in the next one, hopefully he does. We might do it in a pre or post show thing. So
Solo show by Zeth.
Definitely check us out. Not a terrible idea. You guys should check us out on Patreon, obviously, at /tcguniversity.com. Not .com, just TCG University. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We kind of ranted a bit. This, I guess, is just a general PSA talk about multiple different things.
Yep.
I'm good here. You guys, final thoughts?
Keep your scalp on your head.
I really don't care what you're saying right now. Your final thoughts?
Nothing.
All right, cool. Hope you guys enjoyed. We're going into the post show. If you want to view that, that's Patreon.
Sayonara.
See ya.